Welcome to the 2022 Business Pitch Competition. This competition is part of the Industry Insights for STEM Scientists course.
Yeah, thank you very much, Harinder. As you mentioned, I'm Matthew Hansen. I'm the Director of New Ventures here at Beal Applied Innovation. Our mantra is that we practice curiosity, experimentation, and collaboration. And one of the most satisfying collaborations we've had over the years is with Harinder and this program. When he and David Fruman came to us back in 2019 and said, we need to find a way to introduce grad students to the world of industry and so they can speak the language and learn the culture. Can you help us put something together? So we did. They brought the curiosity, we brought the experimentation, and together we collaborated and built a program that now has evolved to what you have now. And along that path, Chris Hallowell joined us and took the reins on the instruction piece. And it's been very, very satisfying to particularly sit in on these last sessions where we get to see you actually implement what you've learned, because gaining insights into industry using the business model canvas was designed to help you realize that you can actually, as a STEM researcher, fit into any one of those blocks and make a contribution. And you'll even be more equipped going out into the real world to have that model in your head so you know how the whole company works together. So congratulations on getting to this point and to engaging in this exciting program. And if any of you have an idea today that you're presenting or related to your research that you believe you want to carry into creating a startup, that's what we do. So you can just reach out to me and we'll plug you into the right programs and services, all of which are free, that can take you from ideation all the way through starting a company and attracting investors. So with that, I'll turn it back to Harinder.
I actually thank another important member of this program course, our course coordinator, Mariam Falata. Mariam has been instrumental in doing all the logistics behind it. It's very hard for one person to do all that. And Mariam, thank you very much. Mariam is a PhD candidate in the School of Medicine. Along with Matt, I also want to thank Chloe, who's the cross-campus collaborations manager, who's also been engaged with us in building this program from the beginning. Our course instructor, Chris Hallowell.
Okay, thanks, Harinder. Yes, I am really happy to be able to participate in this program and have someplace to put my years of experience in high tech and also executive education. So I've just really enjoyed it, and I want to thank everyone involved, and especially the participants. I just want to say something really general about the judges and thank them for being here, and then give them each a minute to just say whatever they'd like to say about themselves. I see. Did Edmund is Edmund on? Did he make it on?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Good. So Edmund and Cynthia and John Rao. So Edmond Wong, Cynthia Kirkby, and John Rao, we are all what's called innovation advisors over at Beal Applied Innovation. And what that means is that we work with startups that get into the incubator, and then we have a variety of other roles. Philip Topham, Philip, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yeah, I answered a Topham or Topham, and occasionally when I get the Vietnamese newspaper, it says Topham, but it's Topham.
So you can either be vegan or not. But yeah. Yes, okay. And Philip and I just recently met because another thing that I do over there is I'm a mentor for the I-Corps teams and the brand new program that Matt has put together for I-Corps, which is a customer discovery where you go out and test the assumptions that you have in the business model canvas. So the whole program over there at Beal is fantastic. There's incredible resources for anyone at UCI, and actually I think they've extended it to all UC campuses, but particularly UCI, who has an idea or some research that they'd like to commercialize. So those are the innovation advisors, and Phil's from SBDC and also is helping to run the I-Corps program at Beal. So we'll start with Cynthia, and just a word about yourself, what you'd like people to know about you.
Well, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I started my first company when I was still in college. And I've been in a number of sectors, from design to furniture to the pet industry, and now into technology. And I hold a number of patents in advertising technology. So I've been mentoring for about 10 years now at different universities, especially UCI. And it's great to be here.
Thanks. Phil?
Yes, a lifetime, I describe myself as a serial specialist, which just means I've done a lot of different things in different industries. Everything from a divisional CIO to CTO to founder, and that's Chief Information Officer, Chief Technology Officer, if you don't know those acronyms. Found myself at the UCI helping startups as I was doing my own startup, realized I knew a lot of stuff. And so then I started helping with coaching. I'm over at the Small Business Development Center. That's your federal and state dollars providing no cost consulting to companies that are in business. I also run a podcast these days that's geared at called the Savvy Founder Podcast, Savvy Founder, and I'll put that in the notes. And that's basically aimed at anybody that's getting into an accelerator where they're getting their first money, anything to shorten the journey for a founder. I just want to see more businesses created in and around everywhere. I want to see Star Trek technology here today. I'm too impatient.
Okay. Thank you, Phil. John Rao? I think are you muted, John? We can't hear you.
Yes, now unmuted. As Chris mentioned, been involved in applied innovation for a number of years. Work for Matt Hansen in the Wayfinder program. Work over with a new venture competition, mentor students over there and coach and mentor. Okay, I'm involved with the Small Business Administration. Work for them for their school organization. I work a lot with startups. So that's my background.
Thank you, John. That was nice and crisp.
We're trying to make it short.
Okay, good. And Edmund Wong, I'm so happy that you could join us as well.
Sure. Thanks, Chris. Hey, everybody. How are you? My name's Edmund Wong, and I'm an entrepreneur, investor, and advisor. So I've been an innovation advisor for the last 4 years over at UCI Beal Applied Innovation and Wayfinder. I've also been a coach and mentor over at the Morar School of Business for the MIE program, as well as a judge for NBC on campus at UCI. And then my background, really, I've spent a lot of time, over 16 years, in the consumer products business, specifically apparel industry, and then I pivoted over to SaaS technology and ed tech for the past probably 10 years, and then had an exit several years ago. Since then, I've been advising high growth companies on strategy and growth. And more recently, I started a fintech. So I don't think Cynthia even knows that. Fintech focused on the wealth tech area. So focused on the wealth management industry. And I'm here to help. You can ping me and connect on LinkedIn anytime.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Insights in Industry Pitch Competition. Allow me to introduce you the C-suite of Brain Juice. And now I'll hand it over to Nima, who will begin to tell you about our company, Brain Juice.
All right, thank you, Chelsea. Let me ask you all, how healthy is your brain? It's a strange question, but it's becoming more and more important. Keeping our brains healthy has become a hot topic, whether it's treating brain injuries from sports or finding ways to prevent age-related brain disorders. We're just realizing how vital brain health truly is. People are constantly trying to find ways to keep their brains active and healthy, and many play games like Sudoku or Wordle, and others turn to supplements. Companies like Onnit and Neuro sell drinks that they claim help proper, healthy brain functioning. But are these options truly the best that we can do? These supplements are sold to everyone, but is everyone's brain really the same? Answer is absolutely not. There's no one size fits all supplement or exercise that helps everyone improve their brain function in the same way. But what if there was a drink that was designed for you and your brain's needs? We're here to tell you that there is. Introducing Brain Juice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Insights in Industry Pitch Competition. Allow me to introduce you the C-suite of Brain Juice. And now I'll hand it over to Nima, who will begin to tell you about our company, Brain Juice.
All right, thank you, Chelsea. Let me ask you all, how healthy is your brain? It's a strange question, but it's becoming more and more important. Keeping our brains healthy has become a hot topic, whether it's treating brain injuries from sports or finding ways to prevent age-related brain disorders. We're just realizing how vital brain health truly is. People are constantly trying to find ways to keep their brains active and healthy. And many play games like Sudoku or Wordle, and others turn to supplements. Companies like Onnit and Neuro sell drinks that they claim help proper, healthy brain functioning. But are these options truly the best that we can do? These supplements are sold to everyone, but is everyone's brain really the same? Answer is absolutely not. There's no one size fits all supplement or exercise that helps everyone improve their brain function in the same way. But what if there was a drink that was designed for you and your brain's needs? We're here to tell you that there is. Introducing Brain Juice, the personalized juice that gives you a boost. Let me tell you why Brain Juice is the next big thing in the healthy lifestyle industry. Brain Juice is the first and only customizable supplement with the power to increase brain function and longevity. Our ingredients are backed by neuroscientists and neuroimmunologists and have been shown to decrease brain inflammation, enhance learning and memory, and decrease your chance of developing brain diseases, and so much more. We want Brain Juice to help you live the best life that you can by optimizing your brain health and function. And not to mention, it tastes great too. I'll now hand it over to CEO Chelsea to tell you about how we plan to get Brain Juice into the lives of our customers.
Thank you, Nima. And so to get Brain Juice into the lives of our customers, we are a personalized subscription-based service that provides an easy-to-use interface via app. In this app, we have surveys for our customers to take at certain time points to track brain health and provide qualitative readouts to our team here at Brain Juice that allow a customized formulation and taste. The app then sends a message to our team, which then goes through our key partners and delivers Brain Juice right to your door. To maintain customer interest and take surveys, we incentivize our customers with 10% off their next order and swag to spread the word and promote Brain Juice. Now, within the realm of subscriptions, we take up the sector of personalized care as well as vitamins and supplements. As evident by this graph, this is $1 million space that provides a home for Brain Juice to thrive. And now I'll let our CFO, Caden, expand on the demographic that we plan to target.
Thank you, Chelsea. As Chelsea just mentioned, the food and drink subscription space is millions of dollars in size. However, it's fundamental for us to target consumers who will maximize our presence within that space. So for Brain Juice, we are focusing on reaching 25 to 45-year-old consumers. And we chose to focus on this age group as there's been lots of data from our competitors. One of the largest food subscription services, Blue Apron, reports that more than 55% of their total customers are between the ages of 25 and 44. Additionally, when looking at the analytics of popular smoothie and drink company, Splendid Spoon, we see the same kind of trend. About 50% of their entire revenue comes from the ages of 25 to 44. Now, although we're targeting this specific demographic, we hope that we can organically broaden the range of consumers that we are influencing. So 25 to 45-year-olds individuals are in a unique position in that they may be caring for other people, whether it's their children or their parents. So by targeting this age group, we believe that there will be organic spread of the Brain Juice brand. And with that, I would like to send it over to Nini so she can discuss some of the key activities to do in order to target this demographic.
Thanks, Caden. And to make sure that we can target our 25 to 45 age group, we have 5 key activities. First, research and formulation. Our neuroscientists will develop a recipe formulation based on evidence-backed research. Meanwhile, our food scientists will collaborate to ensure a culinarily driven, delicious, and safe experience. Production. We are focused on giving our customers high-quality juices through our manufacturing, quality control, and packaging team. Monthly surveys. To deliver a personalized experience, our team will carefully craft pre- and post-monthly surveys on our website and app to tailor suggested drink options for our customers. Moreover, we will leverage data and analytics tools to optimize product suggestion algorithms. Fourth, marketing. To reach our target segment, we will focus on our social media campaigns and our third-party collaborators. Finally, delivery. As part of our personalized experience, we will manage our ground-based third-party network to ship the product right to our customers' doors. Now, to enable these activities, I will pass it back to our CFO to share our key resources. Oh, our CFO.
Sorry, you're on mute, Kaden.
I'm so sorry about that. As Nina mentioned, we rely on 5 key activities, and I will talk about some of the key resources necessary to execute these activities. First, we need our research and development team, headed by our CSO, Chris, to develop and ensure our product's quality. Additionally, we need skilled web developers to program both our website and application to ensure users with a seamless and engaging experience. Once we have our website and products in place, we will need a manufacturing space and team to ensure we can scale up our product to meet demand. And once our product is synthesized, we need our logistics teams to ensure fast and secure delivery. And finally, we need a strong partnership and marketing team to reach both of our potential customers and promoters. And now I'll send it over to Chelsea to talk about some of our key partners.
Again, you're silent. Can't hear you.
Ahead and pick up from there, talking about our key partners. So our business and marketing team has recruited influencers who are role models for improving lifestyle and fitness. Everyday people who turned around their lives in the pursuit of improving their lives and the ones around them. After all, you can't take care of yourself if you can't take care of others if you can't take care of yourself. Haven't heard of these influencers? Not a problem. Our team has secured endorsement of celebrities such as Jillian Michaels, Mike Tyson, and even The Rock, who have touched the lives of millennials, Gen X, and even Gen Zers, allowing familiar faces to show how brain juice can improve their health and the health of their loved ones. Lastly, to reach out and develop new relationships, we have partnered with a wide variety of podcasts who in the past have endorsed supplements and other health products. Based on trajectory trends, ad spending on podcasts has and will continue to increase, which makes podcasts an essential key partner for the success of Brain Juice. And lastly, Brain Juice has teamed up with wellness and health lifestyle brand company founded by actress Gwyneth Paltrow, Goop. And through Goop, we become part of their weekly email newsletters, providing health advice such as police your thoughts and eliminate white foods. And as brand ambassadors of Goop in collaboration with Brain Juice, we would be involved and support the shared mission that we have within our two companies. After all, similar to Goop, our product is also considered clean, holistic, and results-driven. And with that, I'll have Chris talk about the channels of Brain Juice.
Thanks, Chelsea. So the primary channel for interacting with our customers will be through our website at brainjuice.com. This will include us taking information provided by our customers and their lifestyle preferences to develop a personalized supplement mixture that we think will best suit their needs. We also want to encourage our customers to reach out to their doctors about us and provide us with any specific medical information that will allow us to provide a recommended blend that meets their needs. More than ever, doctors are turning to preventative and more sustainable approaches to deal with chronic conditions and ailments. We want to take advantage of this trend to appeal to doctors to use services like ours as a healthy alternative that can be consistent with the lifestyle of their patients. Lastly, we want to encourage every customer to be vocal about the specific and highly personalized brain juice that they use on Instagram and other social media platforms. The only fixed cost would be research and development and storage. Our R&D would consist of 2 data scientists that would effectively take customer surveys and medical related information and apply it towards developing personalized blends and assessing customer demographics to identify opportunities for expansion. We intend to store our proprietary supplements as powders to minimize storage costs and allow us to store all our materials on site. This would require about a total compensation of $250,000 for our data scientists and our manufacturing and quality control personnel and facility. Our data scientists will stay up to date on the latest findings in the field of nutritional supplementation and even regularly publish additional reviews to show the scientific rigor of the product. Variable costs will include the manufacturing, quality control, and shipping. This will be scalable and based on our analysis of supplements we identified as key components for our proprietary blends. We project that the majority of the costs will be derived from our key shipping partners, UPS and the Postal Service. And our compounds will be relatively cheap to synthesize as they have basic chemical structures. And we can confine the total number of unique synthetics used based on their mechanism of activity. And now Nini, our CTO, will expand on how we intend to capitalize on brain juice.
Thank you, Chris. To ensure that we can keep delivering on our promise of a personalized brain boost experience, we have two key predicted revenue streams. One, the bulk of our revenue stream will be from our flat rate monthly subscription fee of $50 a month, with an incentivized 10% discount on future orders. Customers can also opt in for a premium subscription, which will provide an additional boost of supplementary protein powders. A small portion of our revenue will come from our exclusive merchandise sale. Now, speaking of merchandise, Nima, our CMO and designer of our merchandise, will deliver our closing remarks.
Hey, thank you, Nini. Brain juice is the future of the lifestyle industry. It's the only personalized supplement to promote brain health with science backed by professionals. It will be marketed to 25 to 45-year-olds with the potential to expand to both older and younger individuals. And it'll only cost our customers a $50 monthly subscription. We'll be providing the best product to our clients through thorough research and development. And after a quick survey from the client, we'll be able to customize their brain juice blend in-house and send it to them through our delivery partners. Brianne the Brain is excited for the future of brain juice, and you should be too. Brain juice, the personalized juice that gives you a boost. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brain Juice. This was very, very good. I am for sure hooked onto it, and I am looking for the product to come out. For all the work I do, I think I expect a free subscription, lifetime subscription of whenever the product is out. Thank you. All right, now we are open to questions. Judges, please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask any specific questions you might have.
I've got a couple questions for you on competition. You mentioned your subscription service $50 a month. How does it compare to competitors' products? You didn't mention who the competitors were, if there are any, and what their prices are vis-a-vis what your price is.
So we looked online at some of the protein powder competitors, folks that are involved in like the sports field, and most of their monthly subscription or pricing is based around around $39 to $40 for a month, but ours is $50 just because we're providing that personalized experience.
Is it subscription only, or can I buy a bottle and drink a bottle right now and get smarter?
Right now we are subscription based only, but as we expand, we will think about having our product in stores in areas such as Whole Foods or other partners that we want to connect with.
Okay.
You listed a bunch of influencers. I'm assuming those are aspirational and not people that you actually have. You have to be very careful how you present that on a deck. You were presenting it as though they were your influencers, and it's kind of obvious that they wouldn't be.
Yeah, Cynthia, if I can break in there for a second, that's a great comment. Thank you so much. Just to back up the team a bit, the goal here was to understand the business model canvas. So we let everybody take license with things like customer discovery and competitive analysis and also the truth.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Just for your own edification, though, if you do a deck, you have to be very careful how you present that type of thing. Also, you have a problem with your name, and I don't know if any of you did a basic check, but that name is already in use in the industry and it's trademarked. So if you tried to go to market with that name, you would immediately be slapped with a cease and desist, and you'd have to change your name. So it's one of those basic things that you do with the start of a company that you always have to check whether or not the name is available or already taken. Yeah, I agree with John. You didn't really have any kind of competitive slide, so you were missing that.
You know, one question that came up on that, Cynthia, while we're on that, and we got a question in the class about why doesn't the business model canvas say anything about competition? And I've gotten that question before. And I don't know if any of the judges want to address that, but my answer was, well, it's inherent in the idea of a value proposition because value is relative. However, there is no space in the BMC to actually address competition. I don't know if
Yeah.
we,
I can address that, Chris. When I teach the business model canvas, I talk about the canvas itself and the three basic areas: the product risk, the market risk, and the financial risks. Those three sections of the canvas. But there's a fourth that's not on there, and that's the operational risk. And that's the operating environment that you are in, the regulations, the competition, all the things that are part of the way the business is operated. You know, marketing has to look at the strategic analysis and all that. And so it's not specifically there, but it's intrinsically in how the executive team executes on the canvas. That's how I've always looked at it.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and today we're here to present to you our product, Catalyst. Catalyst, we designed as a product to solve a critical need for our modern job searching work. So in our modern society, we know that networking and building new connections is really important for individuals to make new connections and find new opportunities both for themselves and the organizations that they work for. However, we also know that sometimes forming that new network, especially amongst individuals who don't necessarily know each other or don't have previous connections, can be particularly difficult. Junior employees, new graduates, or younger students might not feel confident enough to cold email and make new connections to strangers that they haven't met. And so we've designed our product as a method to lower the barrier and reduce the energy to make those new connections. And our product we call Catalyst. I'd like to give a brief demonstration about how we imagine the product working. Similar to other applications like Hinge, Tinder, or Bumble, these are applications that enable new connections to be made between previously strangers. And so we imagine our product as a phone application where individuals will be able to see the profile of another individual on their phone, and they can see whether or not they connect on key details like skills that they share in common or key interests that they have professionally. Again, these people, in this case, the mentor and the mentee, will be students at particular institutions. And so we can imagine our mentor here as perhaps a graduate student who is interested in finding a mentee, perhaps an undergraduate student who's interested in applying to grad school, is at another institution, and is looking for a graduate student mentor to talk to help through the process. If these two individuals are on their phones, they can make a new connection that if they like each other's profiles. And now we've connected two individuals who previously would not necessarily have met each other and who don't have previous connections in common. I mentioned earlier that we expect these two individuals to be part of two institutions. And so we also expect that both institutions will also benefit. In this case, the Mentors University will see a more diverse or larger applicant pool of undergraduates because the graduate students at that university are able to serve as mentors to other undergraduates. The Mentees University, the undergraduate institution, will be able to send more students to graduate schools because those undergraduates are now getting graduate student mentors that they may not have previously been able to access. And so we've now created a network that connects both individuals who previously could not have made that connection, but this network also benefits the institutions that they work for. And so these are some of the critical values that we anticipate delivering to our customers. We aim to create meaningful and spontaneous connections between college and university students, professionals in private industries, and potentially recruiters. And we aim to do this by bypassing networking barriers, by making it easier for individuals to connect with each other. We also anticipate being able to improve DEI, that is diversity, equity, and inclusivity initiatives in academia, by promoting mentorship and employment opportunities, especially to individuals who might have a harder time making new connections if they're at smaller institutions or don't have a larger pre-existing network. Additionally, we anticipate being able to increase the diversity of employees for companies if they use this app. Now, these are all key values that we anticipate delivering to our customers.
And with these values, and one of which is essentially a solution to your company's or university's DEI problem, we assume that our primary customer segments are progressive businesses,
universities and their students, but really especially those that are seeking enhanced DEI. And the reason for that is maybe these businesses acknowledge that they want DEI, but their initiatives are ineffective or non-existent. And similar for universities, maybe the UC or California State University school systems. And then they're individuals, so students seeking jobs and mentorships at community colleges. These are undergraduates, but also graduate students and even postdocs. And then, of course, we have to acknowledge or we have to reach communities of Black, Indigenous, and people of color if we're going to provide this solution to DEI. And then there are third parties, so ad seekers that might benefit from having ad space on our app. And then we could sell anonymized user data to recruiters that might benefit from having additional information about the users and connections we're generating. And so how do we deliver these mentorship opportunities to our customers? Well, we assume that the most efficient way to build these opportunities is via a virtual channel. So this is where we are introducing Catalyst. This is available via web, but primarily a mobile phone app. It's like Sarah said, it's like Tinder, but for mentorship connections. This provides a channel between mentors and mentees, but also it provides a platform for us at Catalyst to connect with our users and customers. So how do we keep and grow customers? Well, we assume that offering discounted services to universities and corporations at first will attract customers by offering minimal risk, low risk products. So we will first start by advertising promotional offers at via exhibition booths at large conferences and public events. To keep customers, we'll establish an ethics committee because there could be a potential for exploitation here, but also problems between mentors and mentees. So we'll have an easy grievance filing process with arbitration procedures. And then we'll vet the paid advertisers so we don't have any substandard companies showing up on the apps that might alienate our customers. And to grow, we can advertise to students on other social media platforms. And we can also survey students at universities and community colleges, prompting requests for their institutions to participate. And to generate revenue, we assume that universities will pay a subscription based on a number of students enrolled using the app and the size of their network access, and similar model for businesses. At first, we see this as being free for students, but there also might be in-app purchases where students and individuals can buy connections to mentors. And then also we can sell media kits to third parties. These include in-app target advertisements and also advertisements on newsletters to users. Of course, generating revenue will depend on establishing these customers and building important relationships, which will require resources.
Moving to the key resources for our application. First, the financial, which will be for startup funds, building the algorithm, and also develop the application. And moving to the physical resources, which would be the physical space for servers, intellectual resources for algorithm improvement to help match and improve the quality of matching between mentee and mentors. And finally, the human resources, where we have our data scientists, engineer, and in-house clients, which will be the universities and companies for relation teams. As Sarah and Adam also mentioned, so our key partners for our application would be universities, especially their career centers, grad division, PIE initiative, and also social impact, venture capital, diversity offices for companies, and nonprofit for employment, equality, and diversity. So the key activities that we anticipate our application would have is the creation and maintenance of the application, algorithm development, data mining, and going to the marketing as part of the activities would be the social media, content creation, and event coordination. And finally, ethics, which will be for verifying the accounts and also event handling or complaints that would come from customers. So the last part of our PMC would be the cost structure. For the fixed structure, we anticipate to have the startup funds. And for the variable structure, we anticipate would be servers, paying the app developer, and also the employee for marketing for our application Catalyst. Going to the SWOT analysis for our application. We believe that the strengths for our application would be easy for mentee and mentors to connect. Also, we believe that it has a low variable cost. And therefore, the weaknesses would be to verify the users and also the nonprofit aspiration of behind the Catalyst application. However, our opportunity that we believe could promote our application would be the VIE initiative now are in demand, and also minimal regulatory burden that can come with other applications. So the main competitors that we think are threats, so LinkedIn, for example, as a professional network platform, and also various mentorship programs that already established.
With that, we ask you to make a connection on Catalyst. So again, we really think that this is a low-cost solution to DEI with potential for large ad revenue and with economies of scale. They're very minimal fixed costs in the beginning. This is based on established methods for connecting individuals like Tinder and other dating apps. This should be fun and easy to use, and most importantly, we can differentiate this from previous technologies by really appealing to our students. Thank you.
Question for you. Use the term DEI. What does the acronym stand for? I missed that.
DEI is a term that's thrown around a lot. It's diversity, equity, and inclusiveness.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, never use a term without defining it.
He
Because
did, it was just quick. Yeah.
He did define it? I missed it too. So that
Yeah.
makes two of us. So if you're defining it verbally, make sure it's also defined on your slide, so that you put the term next to your initials. Oh, if you defined it here, see, there's too much going on. We've missed it here. But I still don't see the definition. I see the use of it, but I don't see the definition of it. This was really well done. I love that you used the business model canvas to bring it in. And your SWOT analysis was nice add-on, really well put together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also thought I loved how you use the business model canvas as well. It makes it easier for the judges to, judge, I guess. I guess that was the point, right? And so anyways, a few things on your key resources with regards to physical server space. A lot of companies now are using cloud server, and you don't really need, to have your own. So just something to think about. And then with regards to cost structure, have you, I don't know, do you dive into like how much it would cost and things like that, or just thinking about like what are some of the things that you would need to, kind of what's some of the things you need to develop this product?
So, thank you for the question. I would imagine as a fixed cost will have to be with the engineer, software engineer, or data analysis, and eventually any algorithm developer that could help. So that would be, but it could also stretch up to higher cost. And also as a startup, eventually it could be something that we can have it for the application as as algorithm developer or different software engineers in the beginning.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You mentioned customer segments. How do you plan to reach out to them?
That's a great question. So how do we reach our customers? At first, to get the word out, we thought about setting up exhibition booths at conferences. There's a lot of conferences, academic conferences, but business conferences as well. And so this is kind of where we plant the seed and advertise these products to university participants, but also students, and tell, hey, like, have you seen our app? Like, you can join our app. Look, you can make connections. Are you looking for a job? Like that. So that's kind of the main route we see in the beginning. And then once we have a user base, we can have them sign up and have email addresses that way. And so we can be in communication with both the institution, the participating institutions, but also the users themselves via email.
A revenue question real quick. You talk about
yeah, go ahead, John.
You talk about subscription service. Do you have any idea what you would charge for that?
That's something we would have to, oh, Sarah, you want to take that?
Yeah, I can take that a little bit. So one of the current companies that is specifically targeting colleges and universities in diversity recruitment is Handshake. Handshake was recently valued, I believe, $1.5 billion. And their revenue model is, again, the subscription-based model for both university enrollment, but also the size of the companies that are using it. I believe for smaller institutions, it's about $1,000 to $2,000. For very large institutions, it can go up to $10,000, $20,000, $25,000, depending on how many students are using it and what kind of support that they might need.
Cynthia, what do you think?
Well, in one way, it's validation. The question is whether or not you have something that is a unique differentiator.
Mm-hmm.
If you do, then great, come into the market. If you're just trying to do it cheaper, don't bother. It's not going to work. The key is the differentiator. Doing
Unique
it better.
and valuable.
Yeah, doing it better.
Yeah.
There's many cases where the first mover advantage is a fallacy. It's the better mover that is the winner, not necessarily the first mover.
Yeah, first mover can often be the bleeding edge, not the leading edge.
Today we're going to tell you about our product, SciEyes. Many of the people in the audience here can tell you about experiences where you're out, it's nighttime, you're getting ready to go home with your friends or your family, and all of a sudden you realize that you have to go back to the lab and check something. We are trying to solve that problem because we see, as in a research setting, lab personnel waste a ton of time monitoring time-sensitive protocols, and our solution to that is a product called SciEyes. So what is SciEyes? Our value proposition is an automated experiment surveillance system, which is modeled here. Our basic idea is that we are going to set up audiovisual equipment that is of high caliber in order to monitor experiments that require a visual component in order to see whether they're done. So we're also going to incorporate software that will detect user set events and live stream them to pair with an online portal or phone app. So this idea is going to be really useful for people who are doing things like gel electrophoresis, which is displayed in our model, cell culture, any lab or company that's doing molecular cloning or is expressing a protein. This is going to be useful for companies that are, for example, expressing insulin, people who are doing animal behavior, which is useful for a variety of life science and clinical trial research. And we are also going to have a library of existing protocols or the ability to customize to your specific experimental needs. So this is going to be very, very flexible in order to allow you to adapt our system to whatever needs that you have and monitor your experiments in real time and get updates about them. So I've hinted at our customer segments a little bit more explicitly. We see this being useful to anyone who is in research and development, both academia and industry, especially fields that are centered around time-sensitive processes. So those processes that need to be visualized, and events and endpoints that are determined by visual inspection. This can include like a rat is pressing a lever a certain number of times. There are cells that are growing on a plate. Your gel has reached the end of its run. And so we see this as being useful for the life sciences, for chemistry, for engineering. The three of us come from a benchwork setting, but we also expect this to be useful for things that we don't have direct experience with. And that includes field work. If you are in the field and you're watching you're studying plant growth, or you're watching eagles hatch, this is going to be extremely useful to you. And we're going to incorporate both the ability to do this over Wi-Fi and have a 4G LTE component, so that places that aren't directly connected to a network are able to broadcast this signal as well. To establish customer relationships, we plan on advertising at vendor fairs and conferences, doing some site visits to labs and companies. We plan to email and visit to check in with existing customers. And because researchers are highly collaborative, we expect the growth to happen a lot by word of mouth at first. People will tell their colleagues about this. We'll provide remote and on-site troubleshooting of hardware, software, and network issues. And we'll provide free software updates and periodic equipment exchange in case anything gets, in case any equipment is not suitable for the task at hand, or becomes broken, or is out of date, what have you. Our channels, the way that we'll get our product to our customers, this is primarily going to be done online. We'll provide online ordering of the audiovisual equipment. If needed for certain setups, we will provide assisted install of the audiovisual equipment. Our subscription to the surveillance portal will be online in a web app and in a mobile app. And our sign up and ordering can also be done at the vendor fairs and conferences that we advertise at.
So one of our first key activities is developing our software that's going to translate that video information into the event detection alerts. And so we also kind of envision this being similar to like iOS shortcuts for our like pre-built library of protocols that also users can customize. And then because we know that apps are just really useful for a lot of users, we're going to be developing the website and phone app for our users. And then it's also super important that we do lots of testing to ensure that our event detection is actually accurate. And so we plan on partnering with beta testers who would be like companies or academic labs that would be interested in our in using our product. And then we also plan to partner with UI designers in order to develop our app and website. And then we will hire dedicated app and software developers for the initial development as well as ongoing debugging and improvements. And then we also will be developing this physical camera setup, and we envision this as being varying models that are based upon application or the customer needs. So for this, we will need to partner with suppliers for our cameras as well as 3D printing. However, as we scale larger, hopefully we can bring that 3D printing in-house. And then we will hire engineers for the design and development of these physical setups. And then, so in research, data is really critical. No one wants to fear losing their data. So we will allow our users to back up their data themselves, but we also want to provide like an automated data backup system for them. And so for this, it will come also in a form of memory card in the actual camera so that if there are any internet connection problems, their data is safe. And then also we will have regular data backups to our own private servers. And so the partners for this would be the supplier for memory cards. We will need our app and software developers in order to actually implement the regular data backup system, and then also our own private servers. And so right now, it's really important to a lot of people that their data is secure. So we really want to make sure that we are partnering with a cybersecurity company that will make sure that we are doing the best practices to make sure everyone's data is safe. And we will also partner with like a 2-factor authentication service. And then again, we need private servers instead of hopefully using like a third party. By having our own, we hope that that would give more confidence to people that their data is safe. And then we plan to provide installation and debugging. So for this, we will need to partner with travel and shipping companies. And then we also will hire salespeople who will act as our technical and customer support. And then we also plan to do additional customer research in order to identify any more needs that we could possibly address. And so for this, it will involve our beta testers and our salespeople.
So we anticipate our largest fixed cost to be the computational resources required for processing, transmission, and storage. And so all of our customer segments are already expected to have computers, high-speed Wi-Fi, and servers. So this cost will mostly encompass Crystalline's initial setup. And since programming only really requires space to hold our private servers, a brick and mortar launch can be delayed until Crystalline's more established. And instead, we think that funds should be allocated to the employees. So during the startup phase, employees can be paid contract to contract and transition to salary once we have a consistent year-round stream of client projects. And then since the majority of our project consultations will be conducted remotely, a business Zoom subscription will also be required. Our variable costs include cameras and their respective holders, which will fluctuate depending on our number of clients and their specific needs. In addition, as our client base expands, we expect to pay more travel expenses for our technicians to go out and perform installations. As Crystalline grows, we expect increasing travel expenses will be tempered by one, bundling those site visits. So for example, multiple clients within a single university, and two, the fact that our employees will be spread out across the country. And these site visits, again, double as advertisements, as well as a way to identify new places for automation within existing client labs. We will generate revenue by charging individual labs or universities, companies, and government through larger contracts. So we'll charge for the initial consultation where the client presents their needs and we propose potential solutions. And this can be waived during our startup phase or as a part of a larger contract agreement. We'll charge for the installation, the period of development and optimization, and the warranty period of remote or in-person troubleshooting. And so all of these projects, all of these will really be determined on a project by project basis and can be provided as a bundle or individually depending on the lab's skill level. And then additionally, we will offer an annual service package with both hardware and software maintenance. And we can additionally offer an extended service package with options where Crystalline provides specialized monitoring or data analysis. So here at Crystalline, we know you're passionate about your work and we know that it takes time and energy. Let us take the tedious work off your plate and let you get back to the science you're most excited about.
It was clear on what you were trying to do, and I thought you'd done a good job on the key activities, including the cybersecurity and privacy and backup, a big portion of it. One comment was, I think you listed computing costs as a fixed cost. With the cloud, usually that's considered a variable cost because you just add a server as you add capacity as your customers add experiments. So you only would be fixed cost if you're actually building a computer room. But otherwise good.
Yep, great presentation. You know, I always like to learn something new every day, and I just learned that it's important to maybe live stream your cell cultures and things like that. I don't know, but I guess there's a use case for that. So that's great. Like Phil said, your key activities and resources well thought out. I mean, you really thought out every single step. That's great. I know on the cost structure, with regards to the price, I know and again, this is not necessarily part of the business model canvas, but something to think about if you move forward with this is you plan to have installation and I assume not just like Orange County, right? So you would have to spend quite a bit of money to fly or have fly people out. Maybe think about partnering with existing, partners out there that already have a footprint in different parts of the country to reduce your costs, and then also watch your revenue, your revenue structure, your costing structure to make sure that you're actually making money on your sales.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vinicius Duarte. And my teammates are Adam and Yoon Tan. It's been a pleasure hearing from our colleagues, and now we'd like to introduce our business, Avigraph, to everyone here today. I think we can all agree that transplants have saved many lives, right? Whether they be heart, bone marrow, or kidney transplants, the therapeutic approach has allowed people to live happier, longer, and healthier lives. But there's a less fortunate side to transplant therapy that receives less attention, and that is that not all transplants are successful until now. So here at Avigraph, we've developed a novel biomaterial that enhances transplant efficacy by reducing immune cell activation. Our product allows for post-engraftment control of biomaterial-infused drugs. Furthermore, our biomaterial works with all cell types from a variety of different tissues, such as the heart, the liver, the skin, and the brain. And ultimately, our goal is to reduce the burden on the healthcare system associated with transplant therapy by reducing patient visits. Now, in keeping those four value propositions in mind, our main customer segment will be physicians and surgeons seeking to enhance the functional outcomes of their transplant therapies. Another very large customer segment will be principal investigators or research scientists. Now, these will be principal investigators on clinical trials that incorporate transplant therapy, as well as principal investigators on preclinical research studies that utilize transplants in their work. Lastly, another large customer segment will be dermatologists who are looking to enhance the efficacy of or reduce the costs associated with cosmetic stem cell procedures. Now, to ensure that our customer segments are maximally capitalizing on our value proposition and that they're very satisfied with our product, I will turn my focus to customer relations. The tour de force of our customer relations will be our regional technicians. They will be responsible for planning and executing product demonstrations at a variety of institutions, as well as providing product support to customers when they need them. Additionally, our regional technicians can sit in on patient-doctor consultations upon the patient's request. As a company, we will also be very active on social media platforms like Twitter, where we can spotlight scientists who are using our biomaterials, and we can conduct product giveaways as well as share patient stories and testimonials. Lastly, our product website is designed with our customer segments in mind, and Adam will get into that in the very next slide.
Thanks, Vinny. So from our social media presence and demos, some of our customer segments, such as the physicians, can make their way to our website and customize our material so that it can match their patient's needs. Once we receive the stem cells, our scientists will work to transform them into a graftable material that can then be implanted back into the patients for their specific disease. Additionally, we also offer a generic product that scientists and private investigators studying fundamental stem cell engineering can order from our website or from popular chemical distributors such as Sigma or Thermo Fisher, which will be delivered right to their lab doorstep. Additionally, the success of our product would not be possible without the external community we partner with to help save lives. We partner with hospitals to receive the patient's stem cells that we can then engraft into our specialty product. Vinny mentioned in our value propositions of wireless control of drug delivery. So we're partnering with Texas Instruments to provide that wireless Bluetooth control to deliver drugs. Then to deliver the material safely back to the hospitals, we're partnering with Biomedical Distribution LLC, which is a company that specializes in the transportation of delicate tissue samples, so we can go back to the hospitals. Then for our in-house R&D, we get our lab supplies from these chemical distributors, Sigma, Thermo Fisher, but we also use their platforms to sell our generic product to academic and government research centers that perform outsourced fundamental research in specific disease contexts with either our generic or specialty products. And finally, from them, we gain valuable insights into how to effectively use our products to treat different diseases, and we can expand our portfolio of specialty biomaterials. And to explain more about these activities, I'll pass the mic on to Yunsha.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Adam. The key activities that help our company to create values are as follows. The primary activity is research and development, which focus on improving the biomaterial product and the core technology of the stem cell-based therapy. Secondly, manufacturing. We intend to have our own production line to manufacture biomaterials for transplant. So we will need to do our quality control to ensure that the manufactured biomaterial adheres to our defined set of quality criteria and meets the requirements of different patients. Thirdly, publication. Publication will provide broader values for the society and the biomedical industry, and the patent writing will protect our own equity and guarantee an innovative company culture. Since the company is composed of different departments, effective management for internal personnel, productions, and costs is required. Lastly, we collaborate with one of our key partners, the hospitals, to focus on the transplant studies. Our product has passed the FDA approval and entered the phase 4 clinical trial, which studies the side effect caused over time by a new treatment after it has been approved. So next slide, please.
So the key resources that help our company to create values are, so first of all, we will have a group of scientists in different fields of studies, including chemistry, material science, medicine, and biology. And also we will have a medical writing team whose primary duty is to apply for fundings. This team also takes charge of publication in relevant field to expand our influence in academia. We will also have an IP team who manage the interface between the inventors and technology licensing executives to ensure full and effective management of patent filing and prosecution. The IP team also handles all the related IP ownership issues. Lastly, we have a legal and public relation team to deal with potential conflicts. The typical responsibilities of our public relation coordinators include preparing and disseminating press releases and arranging the interviews with hospital administrators and with our healthcare providers. So for our cost structures, we will have our fixed cost and our variable cost. So first, our major cost will spend on the R&D, and we'll also have to pay the salaries for all the research scientists we have, and we need to rent a manufacturing building and have the building maintenance. Also, we need to buy the manufacturing facilities. We will also spend portion of the money to consult, which will help us to develop our future business strategy and promote our business development. For the variable cost, we will need the raw materials to produce our biomaterial and the piece-rated label and production supplies, also packaging, delivering, and lastly, the customer support. Next, I will hand over to Adam. With all those costs, he will introduce how we can gain profit.
Yeah, thank you, Yunchen. So just as we want to keep our patients alive, so also do we want to keep alive with our revenue. So we are utilizing a bifurcated resource allocation model with our revenue streams and cost structures within the two branches of our company, the generic product and the specialty service. The generic revenue comes from purchasing via our website or via chemical distributor websites. And the revenue from our specialty service comes from invoicing patients through the hospitals. Stem cell therapies isn't covered under traditional insurance plans. So our goal is to make this as affordable for the patient while still profitable for us. We also mentioned utilizing these stem cells therapies in the global cosmetics industry, which is currently worth over $500 billion. Since this industry is so popular, we want to make sure that our customers can get safe and affordable treatments. Due to the nature of this bifurcated model, extra funds from the branches can also be used to support the other. And then finally, NIH partnership grants and business contracts for either our material or our material plus services also factor into our revenue streams. And then finally, to tie everything together, I'll pass it back to Vinny.
Alrighty, so this was Albigraft, everyone, where we seek to do better science in an effort to better people. Thank you for your attention, and we will take any questions at this time.
Thank you, Abigraph. Wonderful job. Now we are open to questions by judges. Please go ahead and.
You mentioned novel biomaterials. Can you tell us the composition of those materials? What are they made of?
That is a proprietary information for our company and our IP.
Well, it is a proprietary meeting, so I'm looking for an answer. I don't like a vague answer.
Oh no, well, our biomaterial would be made from different, to speak in general, different like biologically sourced materials and polymers that interact with the cells in such a way as to help them stick together, but also to reduce immunoresponses and rejection.
So you actually have some formulation in mind, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, between the two generic and the research models, revenue sources, which do you think is the larger revenue stream and why?
Deal with hospitals and doctors. They're the ones that are going to buy it.
Yeah, so for although with the hospitals and the specialty material, that comes with some extra costs. So in terms of lowest cost, highest profits, probably the generic material that can be purchased through either our website or different chemical distributors. And then those funds can help support some of the more intense research that goes along with the specialty material.
My point is that I don't go to the mall to get a skin transplant. I go to a hospital. That's my point.
I think the revenue streams will differ depending on the customer segments. So physicians and surgeons, they will mostly, our revenue from them will mostly come from our specialty service, but for principal investigators, it will mostly come from the generic product.
Yeah, plus you have a lot of independent surgery centers. My father was a plastic surgeon, and he had a surgery center within his office. So, you know, that's one of the other areas that you'd probably be selling to quite a bit. This was well laid out. It was easy to follow. You talked in general terms about your revenue, but did you actually figure out any numbers, even if it's, you know, real generalized numbers?
Not off the top of my head, because there's not really in real world, there's not really like a treatment kind of like that is similar, or there's not really a treatment kind of similar to what we're proposing.
There's usually something in the ballpark.
Yeah.
So you might want to look at something that's just kind of in the general ballpark so that you can put a generalized number in. That would help.
One comment I have that you probably wouldn't know this at this point of your idea, and that is for the FDA, every single stem cell has to have both a new device application and a new drug application for each usage. So if you're doing something, say in breast reconstruction, that would be a different cost than if you were doing, say, ophthalmologics, it's something in the eye. And so that would impact your costs very, very dramatically, depending on where you start.
Right.
Yeah, the one other thing I'd like to say about your costs is that when you talk about one side of your revenue supporting the other side, be very careful about that, because that's kind of a warning sign for investors, because a lot of time that's a robbing Peter to pay Paul situation. You have something that you're not focusing on well enough to make it profitable, and the other side ends up getting drained because you're putting money into that side. So that's just a caution as you move forward.
As I was like putting this together, I mean, one thing that my team and I did was we had to like scale back on a lot of things to like meet the time constraints.
Right.
And also I was thinking, like, I constantly kept thinking about like, man, there's probably like whole teams dedicated to, I mean, there's probably like multiple teams dedicated to each component of the canvas. So like in an actual like business development setting, that's like actually the case, right? Like I'm not just making that up in my head.
You mean that in a big company, there would be teams of people on each of these elements?
Yeah, or like even, I mean, I guess like even at like, I guess a startup, it wouldn't be as exacerbated as I'm making it seem, right? It would be like a small team of people that are really working on all of these segments.
Yes, and actually that's part of the fun of being in a startup. You know, you get a chance to put your nose in everything. And I'm working very closely with a startup right now where it's starting to get just big enough. I think we probably have like 15 people hired now, that you can't be involved in everything, and it hurts. I like being involved in everything.
Yeah, it reminds me of like academic labs too. Like if you join a new lab, there's really like so much upfront legwork that you have to do to like get all of the tools ready that you need for the lab, which I guess is like analogous to doing every component of the business model canvas. Whereas if you join a very well-established lab that has all the tools and all the techniques and lots of different levels of mentorship, then you really can just focus on your project. And
Yeah, you're a little more siloed or focused on what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. At the beginning of most startups, it's usually a founder and a co-founder if you're lucky. So the first business model canvases are usually 1 to 2 people doing all the work. And maybe you've borrowed or begged for some interns along the way to get some additional help. But yeah, it's intense at the beginning.
What exactly is like fintech and wealth management?
Sure. So so fintech is like a short form for financial technology. So it's things like technology for the banking industry or for anything to do with, finance and stuff like that. So wealth tech or wealth management is the industry where, there's financial advisors that manage your money for you, or, people who want to save up, or usually wealthy people, they have a lot of money and they want to put it aside and have somebody manage their money for them or invest their money. So that's kind of what wealth management is. So when you guys have your exit and you have all your money and you want to do your thing, instead of managing your own money, you find somebody who probably a friend who's also exited, who would tell you that they have a great advisor, and you can have them pay them usually about 1% of what they're managing your assets on, and they can make you more money. So that's kind of.
And Edmund, I didn't know that you were doing that. You mentioned it at our last coffee.
Yes. Okay.
The only comment
I do keep up on you.
Is the word tech has been added to just about every industry these days. It's at one point in history there was just agriculture. Now there's ag tech, and property management is prop tech. And so in the startup world, you'll hear everything with shortened and the word tech added to it. And it just means somebody's figured out how to use the new emerging technologies, data analytics, cryptocurrency, AI, something to automate and improve an entire industry.
Yeah, and in addition to fintech, you'll hear DeFi, which is decentralized finance.
Yeah.
So that's in the cryptocurrency area.
Oh my goodness. Do any of the teams have plans to pursue the idea that you discussed today? No? Well, if you do have an idea from the lab, or from the labs that you're in, and you should check out, Phil, why don't you do a little commercial for the I-Corps, this program?
Oh, sure. The I-Corps is specifically designed, it's funded by the National Science Foundation. UCI participates in that. And we have funds to really help grad students and professors, faculty that have an idea to figure out how they go about talking to customers to then realize, is this real? And kind of make a real business out of it and get prepared to either submit for funding for SBIR, for grants from governments, or even to start figuring out how to put your company together. And that's part of the Beal Applied Innovation System. And so there's lots of resources over there as well. It just is one of the aspects of that entire center.
But it's a good segue for this course, because the foundation for customer discovery is testing the assumptions that are put into the business model canvas framework. So, we had a little discussion about that in one of our sessions about, we want to be always saying, I assume that. And so the I-Corps program teaches you how to go test those assumptions, in a qualitative research methodology for doing that.
And that's so important.
It's critical. It's mandatory.
I watched presentations this week from master's students that were actually doing real businesses, and one team in particular had not talked to a single company or individual in the segment that they were planning to enter.
Yeah, customer discovery is key.
Yeah, and you just can't do it. You have to talk to people. You can't just sit in your room and come up with an idea and never go out and talk to anybody.
And is everybody is a student at UCI here? Or okay, so if you've never heard of the New Venture Competition, and I've been talking to the organizers, you know, one of the big problems is getting that message across campus. So if you've never heard of it, it's a campus-wide, school-wide kind of business pitch competition. And so it kind of takes this business model canvas and takes it to the next step in terms of really figuring out what the you know, you have your problem solution, then your go-to-market strategy, how are you going to develop out your product, how to build a team. It teaches you how to turn your idea into a business.
Get more serious about the numbers, Edmund, as well.
Yeah, exactly. And they have different kind of workshops pretty much every week to kind of give you more insight into how to, you know, build this business.
Vinny, do you want to, I'm not Vinny, just a second, Vinny. Edmund, do you want to drop do you have the information about, I don't know why it took me out of there. Am I still, okay. Do you have the information about the New Venture Competition presentations?
I can.
Yeah, because it's coming up. If you're interested in this, you can go watch the presentations. And
oh yeah, okay, I can.
Yeah, the finals are next week.
The finals are next week. Anyway, Vinny, you had your hand up.
Yeah, Sarah had hers up before me though, so.
Oh, okay, Sarah, I'm sorry, I missed that.
I think I guess I'll go quickly. I realize some of the judges here are familiar with are working with incubator startups and possibly some private capital as well. I guess I'd be curious to hear about maybe very quickly your views on the role of incubators or equity in sort of advising new startups as opposed to simply giving them seed money. How extensive is that involvement? And I guess what are your opinions on the extent of involvement and management and stuff like that?
Incubators are great. You know, the Wayfinder program at UCI is an incubator program. Long Beach now has the Long Beach Accelerator, which is very well put together. There's a number of incubators all over Southern California. And depending on what segment you're going in, certain ones are better for certain areas. But they're a great place to learn a lot. You have mentors available. And some of them come with money and some don't.
You want to put 1 million cups in the thing, and I'll put TCVN in the thing as well?
So yeah, Cynthia, what is 1 million cups? That's another fun thing to do.
1 million cups is an organization that is backed by the Kauffman Foundation. And it meets once a week. There are meetings all over the United States. The one for Orange County, we've been virtual since the pandemic hit. And we kind of stayed that way because we've ended up with members that have moved around the country. So we've got people from Seattle and Chicago and stuff. And we've also had presentations from Europe and Africa. But each week we have 1 or 2 companies that present their pitch decks. And then we give them feedback on how they can fix it better before they go in front of an actual investor. So it's a lot of fun. You learn a lot.
And you can actually meet people that might become members of your team or co-founders there. Is that still part of the?
That's still part of the thing. And we also have an innovation book club that we've been running since the pandemic. Our next meeting is on Monday, on Memorial Day. I'm not sure if anybody's going to show up. I think we forgot it was Memorial Day. But we're reading biology, B-U-Y-ology. But each month we take a different innovation book, and but it's a no guilt innovation book club. If you haven't read it or you only read one chapter, you can still come and talk about it. So it's very lively conversations. So it's a good group.
Yeah, I just got, you know, incubators are generally the earliest where you're just getting mentorship, connecting with people. You're at a stage where you don't really know what you don't know yet. You don't know how to talk to investors. You don't know how to raise money. You don't know how to go do customer discovery. That's where iCore comes in. So yeah, get out into the community, visit the 1 million cups, see what people ask, see the questions. You'll learn so much. Even if you choose not to pursue the business today, I think it gives you the foundations that maybe in 3 or 4 years, you get a different idea and you go, how do I start? You'll be so far further along in how you move forward. I'm part of the Tech Coast Venture Network. That's the Orange County's longest serving nonprofit just for startups. For the earliest of stage, from idea to getting them into the accelerator is really where we fit, and then connect them with the other agencies in the Orange County.